I don't know that there's any way around it.
Okay, I will try to bring together about the KOS in the contextual information about linked open data. And what we're going to talk about now first is about the vocabulary themselves released as linked open data, so called LOD-KOS. But the second part will be about the usage of that. Maybe not directly relate to this, but give us some ideas of what our future project could be and impact could be. Okay? And then we'll discuss about individual types of users. So when Jonathan was talking about different types of KOS, we already saw the different flat structured and all the way go to classification, Sisori ontology. In fact, there are some kind of relationships between them, and everyone has some purpose, function, why I want this way, why I want that way. So there are different functionalities. Some are just eliminating ambiguity. We just make it clear, like a glossary pick list. Some want to show the hierarchical relationship. We're just showing that, right? And some want to show the associative relationship. That is how Sisori are more than just classification. So why we need the ontology? And we just heard about the triples, the properties that ontology have all that function, but also have something everyone else don't have. That is the property. So we'll use a very simple example again. For example, for medical related, for cancer cells, any cells, you categorize hierarchically, cancer related or not cancer related, or which part of the body it occurred, right? However, that's just classification. Ontology will say, if this is a cancer cell, then what the property? The frequency of its duplicate. Yeah. The time that relate to the person's body's degrees, all this. The ontology is more than just categorize and put it where. Ontology also describe them. That's why that there is a property. I'm just trying to put this together in this kind of way to show the hierarchy. So now the trends is publish your KOS, no matter what it is, into linked open data. How we can do that, because W3C defined those common standards. Then we use that to make that into our as ontology, or SCOS for Sisori, for classification, or other kind of authority files. And how will they be available? They will be available in mostly two ways. Download, what they call that is data dumps. It's not a spelling error. It's data dumps that they call that. You just grab whatever. And another is Sparkle endpoint. You go to the endpoint to find them. So what the trends is, there's a Bartok registry for all kind of different types of vocabulary. You can see how many of them are registered all in the world. So in the future, if you try to find information, other glossary, you can go to the Bartok. So now there are over 2,000, almost 3,000 of them. How many of them in linked data way? You can see RDF and SCOS. How many of them there? You can just filter. It's just showing the trend. Another place is called the Data Hub, which has not just the KOS, but also other types of data sets. In this particular one, for example, I just searched the conservation, there are 102 data sets available. And in terms of the KOS registered, there are many of them, many caesuri there, classification there, they all released as linked data. So they exist before, maybe in the printed format, maybe in our PDF, but now they also make into this. It's the trends of this. Who have done that? We can see all Library of Congress classification, Library of Congress subject headings, and then the special kind of vocabulary or name authorities, as well as the cultural and language specific KOS. So when they are available, they will write down what kind of format you can download. For example, for the Getty vocabulary, AAT, you can have so many different ways to download that. Okay. This is individually how they look like. In the Library of Congress subject headings, we can see the normal way of a subject heading. And they make that available, they say, download in all of this format. So for us, we don't really need to worry about those technology part. We just need to take care of what should be the concept of preferred label, or there's so many formats. Machine just convert that into different format. Yeah. And the recent one, like a UNESCO's thesaurus, we can see that. Make it downloadable as the data dump, but also Sparkle endpoint. That's what we were talking about, Sparkle endpoint. So how this looks like? It's just like a place, but I don't know any of those codes, what I do. The template, you click on that, you automatically get the set done. Okay, so it's good to do this, right?
It's showing underlining some of the query examples.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's the different types of query examples that the UNESCO has given to us. And we can also have the different way of download them. If you're not comfortable with that, you have used a spreadsheet and CSV, you can just download spreadsheet. If you like to download any triple or XML, you can also download. So very flexible. Now let's have a close look at one of them. I would showing this as the example of how it's done. So previously, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. So this has stated for many years, once getting to the linked data, we got the thesauri, we get a hierarchical display. Yeah, everyone understands the rice, a different kind of rice, right? And the individual concept has label, narrow, broader, and narrow or different language labels. Right, so magic could happen. That's it. So somehow you just tell the machine to transfer, say, between them there are broader, narrow relationship. There are alternative terms, or there are the labels. So for the thesaurus developer, they're not directly involved this part. Someone just make a crosswalk, download, and then export into this. How will this looks like? Now the same thing now looks like in this way. And we would just talk about the triples. That first one, URI, that is the subject. And then property, can you see that? And value. Everyone understand? Let's see the other one. That's concept, has preferred label, has alternative label, has broader or narrow concept, right? Same as what we had before, but now become machine understandable. Machine understandable. In the human readable one, you can also click and find out the RDF XML export. Let's see one simple example. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triples, right? That concept has labeled this URL. That concept has preferred label in different languages. For example, in English, preferred label is rice, right? Or you can see in other languages what preferred label. So what we have seen is just the machine translated into the way they understand. That's it. So for us, we don't need to worry or be stressful about those technology things. It's just programming and they convert. Okay. So the next part I want to show you why we want to make them as triples, as machine understandable. The first thing I want to see for data set producers. Now we've just got the 5-star, right? So 5-star require people to start publish anything. You are required to release your data sets into some way other people want to use. That is released into linked open data. Now, how I can do that? The first, no matter what you have, for example, you have a whole archive thing, previously no control. So what we would do, we populate the control vocabulary into the data set. The second is now I have names, people, or place, or concept. What else? You need to use standardized or popular the vocabulary, not just your own, right? You need map to the standard. Then the third is that, yes, I have a control vocabulary, I have a thesaurus, but it's not linked data. So the third thing is we need to use linked open data to do this. The simple situation is that when you start with a whole set of the text, has no control, you need to identify what is inside, what can be indexed, what can be recognized. For example, place, person, institution, event, object, concept. We just take them, and the jobs or documentation, we will identify those of them, we put them into some kind of checkbox or structured data and clean up them. Then we will need to see if we want to become not just put into any database silos. We have a problem. We have so many silos. We want to make them linkable into linked data. So that is the next step, the milestones. You encode them using this popular control vocabulary, and then also put that URI into that place. Then we no longer call it rice. We put the rice URI there. That's it. So this process have become so popular that everyone, if you want your database become ever available as open source or as linked data, you have to go through these steps. That's why that it become popular of linked data-based system. So in 5-star, the only 5-star in the structure, all of those scissori, all of those are become the core to connect the data, because in the number 5-star is you also have to link to some others. How can you do that? You use the scissori, the classification ontology to link to other places. And that's the 5-star cloud that you only have to be claimed to be there. So we summarize that the open data KOS vocabulary are the sources for people find the URI, for people name, place name, concept, categorization, any of that. It becomes the place to that. So once we have that, I can convert my original data into some kind of structured data, and it's 5-star or 4-star to publish this. Another very important concept is machine understandable and machine processable. This is different from machine readable. If machine only readable, they make mistakes. But if you have triple URI, machine has no issue, won't mix up, messed up. They will be able to process the. That's the semantic web, the second generation of the web, different from the first web, because now it is machine processable, machine actionable. It's not just machine and read and can translate into what they have. But what about those vocabularies? So if it's openly available, it's well established and consistently maintained, those vocabularies are become so important to any of the database producers. So this is from the data set producer point of view. But for website, I have a few examples. For example, we have our MoMA from San Francisco. You see the MoMA in the New York. So what they have, each of them, you get the website, and here you can see Wikipedia entry, and here you see Getty record. You see that? So you get the Getty record, and you get everything about Dali. You have all the name, place, because Yulan already did that. Why I have to redo the work? Right? So this is how this website for every user. You can click and go further to the Getty full vocabulary. What is behind that? Very simple. Okay, I'll say that. So my ID, this is my ID, MoMA ID. Can you see that? MoMA ID. This is my ID. Same as, that's our same as. Wikidata ID. Wikidata ID also gives you all kind of multilingual label on Wikidata. And the same as Getty ID. That's all. So my ID equal to their URI. And would this be useful for a website? You develop, you very efficiently control, but also important. You see, I searched on the Google and Bing. Very quick, if you use ID to search, you get accurate thing coming out. Get multi-languages, all the information on the first 2 pages. Otherwise, sometimes it takes a while to get to the real useful information. So any library or museum which used coded Dali with the ULAN ID, their stuff come out in the search engine. But this is just one of the examples, and there are more and more like this. I bring this one because I think maybe that's another useful resource for our group to pay attention to as well. So this is the museum and collections with Maya inscriptions, collected so many things there. But that, where you find it, you based on the Getty GGN and the ULAN and the geo name to find this particular museum, particular location, particular things that have this Maya collection. Yeah. It's more like this. Europeana, the European Digital Library Archive Museum and Gallery together. Not just give you subject terms, it's automatically extended. For example, extended to all the language that could happen because it's a multilingual in Europe. Extend the geographic coordinates. How could it do that? The same thing, my ID is your ID, that's it. So they have identified about 10 different vocabularies. If it's a geographical name, okay, map to geo name. If it's what, da 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 da. So they got that, and they enrich the whole Europeana catalog very, very efficiently. We see this more cases. For example, this is the another example of after going through this map to the VF, and now you click on the technique link, you can get all the information that extended. So web developers, for them, it's also a useful way to do. For us, for the vocabulary producers, there may be a few things that I want to show, but tomorrow we will also see more examples, and I have made a web page that you can click to find out. But just bring a few examples. In the FAST, which is based on the Library of Congress subject heading, divided into the facets for each thing. When we talk about JFK here as a subject, not as something, it's a subject concept. People write biography of that, people write books about that, right? So sources and other links, link to Wikipedia, link to VF. What does it mean? Wikipedia is about the person, and VF is about the name of JFK. It's different. So that back end, the RDF chip will allow us to do that. So I'm talking, if it's a Wikipedia, it's this JFK in Wikipedia is about that person. If it's in VF, it's about the name of JFK. So no mistake. That's a machine understandable, machine processable, because you use correctly the property, like answers property. You use correctly property of machine understandable, processable, make no mistakes. Yeah. I also would like to show you the generating the microthesaurus. Maybe we don't have time. I just go through some example, but I have a whole instruction here you can do. It show you very quickly how to generate something that small collection need. For example, we have this in Canadian. They suggest you, if you deal with materials and techniques, here are the thesauri you can use. But I'm not asking you to use the whole thing. You can just get this hierarchy. You can just get this facet, the Johnson mission facet hierarchy, right? So they allow you to do this. And UNESCO, we talk about microhistori, there are different ones. And you can get a list of the countries just by very quickly to do that. It also has an example of getting from the AAT, for example, for the costume by function. Because one of my friends wants to say how I can get the vocabulary quickly, but just for the fashion. So we say, how long will you take to create a thesaurus for all the costume or fashion? 2 seconds. Okay, so 2 seconds I can get with all the ID, label, and notes. How can I do that? We don't have time to show you, otherwise we can go to the Getty vocabulary query, Sparkle query, say, obtain this particular one. Once you click template, you see this coming out, click that, then submit. And very easy to work on that. Are we online? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So if I go to the Getty query, yeah, we are here. All right. So you can see that. You click on the query. You can see all these things come out. So I was trying to get a decent, right? The example didn't show that. Didn't switch to the, sorry.
Let me,
We have to switch.
Yeah, no, all you need to do is take this.
Oh, so that's a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you want to click that you show me now?
Yeah, so this was we went to this website, click, and then this is click on the query. So otherwise, this is Sparkle, right? If you click on the query. Yeah. So I was trying to show you, create a microthesaurus. But this is about the drinking vessels. Drinking vessels template is an example because the URL, the ID. See that Sparkle, right? Click. Yeah, so it's already there. If you're not looking for drinking vessel, you look for some other thing, change the ID. That's it. And then you just submit. Yeah, it's already, how many seconds? 2 seconds. So this is how can, yeah, let's switch. How can a Sparkle query endpoint actually help people to get the information quickly? So we'll go back to that. All right. For especially smaller project and a new collection, if you want to create a microthesaurus, it's very easy and quick to do that. It's my example that I already showed you for including the. So next one is about researchers. What about researchers? Can we go beyond being a vocabulary, being a control vocabulary, or being a glossary? This is the question, say, can we do that as a knowledge base? I have just, again, a few examples. This is the universal protein resource. And this is the Sparkle query template. Something, for example, just like we did, select, give me the categories or give me a taxonomy of that. But you can also see other examples. For example, select the preferred gene names and disease annotation of all human in these Uniport entries that are known to be involved in a disease. this very complicated question. And if I do myself, even search, I have to figure it out. And not to talk about using computer understandable SPARQL query language. But they could do, you click on this, you can find, immediately get the set of all those genes related to particular kind of disease, yeah, in a quick way. And go back to the example in the Getty vocabulary. Now we look at the TGN for geographical. Not just name authority of geographical name, okay, not just that. For example, we should see place by direct and hierarchy type. Place by type parent, countries and capitals by type, places coordinates. So you can see many kind of way we haven't thought about control vocabulary can do. Now we can put together because we can do the query together. Let me see, I have, yeah. Again, we have the, go to that query endpoint, for example, place by type within bounding boundary. This example is to find all the castles around the Netherlands. And you click on that, you get the information right away, and each of them give you the information of that. And you can see this covered the subject from different places. Right? And I do the same thing using the same query, but now I'm trying to find all the caves around the ancient Silk Road. So what I need, first is the ID, the number of caves, right? The second is I know the geographical coordinate of that. Then I put into the query, and I can find the things around the ancient road. Actually, I have, is there any way I can play? No. Probably not. Just a little video. Yeah. So I can circle the. So why we can do this is because the original vocabulary already have those information, geographical information, types of caves, the place locations, and I can directly link to different museums to do that. So it's become knowledge base, right? It's more than just a controlled vocabulary. Can you see that? Right. And for name authorities, we also can think this way. Or not just control that person's name, how many different languages, or what alternative name. Now I can find many different types of information that we spend many time to put into authority record. And for example, we find that all the, by the nationality, find the ancient, I think like one, all the female artists as a hobby or something like that. And the relationship of any artist, if you find Frank Lloyd Wright, and then you can see all the information about the relatives, the related persons, what kind of relationship, and the corporate relationships all together. Again, just a few seconds. Right. If more researchers give us the question, we can put more templates like this, allow people to search and easily. Yeah. My last example is that we even don't need to see the SPARQL query endpoint. My favorite example, all this Roman coins, and it's become international collaboration. The sources are from some large databases and also small databases, small sets together. But what is behind that? Ontology. Every figure, every emperor, every material, every site have URI, okay? And they categorize that, they make an ontology like the CRN have done. I just want to show you the results. For example, I click on any of them, browse, and not only see the types, but also you can quantitate, you can see the results. For example, the different emperors, whether the silver, the quantity of the silver is going down or going up like that. Comparison of the time material, it's more than just we know before. Again, you don't even need to deal with Sparkle query endpoint. It's automatically using the interface, hide those technical parts, and allow you to navigate. So for the researchers, this kind of linked open data KOS become knowledge base. They are more than just a control vocabulary, name authority, hierarchical list. They become the knowledge base. That's what I want to say. We need to open our mind and see, wow, that's potential. How can we do this? So in conclusion, that the possibilities and the possible usage after we become linked open data, the original made Sisori classification ontology becomes so powerful and so useful. In this century, we will see that what we are tracing is not, they are machine understandable, processable, and actionable, not just machine readable. This is the very key things we need to make. And we're linking things, not just strings. We're linking things because each of them has triple behind, has URI. Clearly, what is that? Not clearly. So that's my part of the talk, and I hope that we will be able to be using this project to think about all of the possibilities, the potentials through the existing data. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for this. And, okay.
Questions?
Yes. It's some kind of, yes.
You know how you said that we can produce the micro thesauri very quickly?
Yeah.
So you choose the hierarchy that you want, and then you can pick it up from the Sparkle endpoint. Yeah.
Right.
And in some cases, and that has happened to me in the past, the terms that I wish to use are across different hierarchies. So there is, okay, a bit of an exercise there, run that query a few times to pick up everything you want. But then how do you formalize that as a small part of the AAT or episode that is on its own a standalone thing? It can exist on its own. Is that a would you call that a microthesaurus?
Microthesaurus is the one that can be used independently as a thesaurus. And you can decide what content you want to keep or you want to add. And the one that I show you come up with 2 seconds allow you to download in different format. One of the way that everyone can use is download as a CSV, just a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So you have a spreadsheet, now you can add it. You can add and combine different ones together. Right. That's maybe one of the ways. Okay.
As a question, when we're talking about linked open data, so it's a notion that data has to be linked to external vocabularies or thesaurus. For example, I understand that Getty has link, for example, AET to TGN, to ULAN. Do you know if there are any plans to link, for example, TGN to geonames, to have this link to external vocabularies?
That's a very good question, because a lot of time you can see TGN and the geoname are used the same time together, because TGN has more ancient names. And
it's not
yeah,
not
the
everything,
geoname
but
is, but geoname has more current locations and then that information. So each have different
Scope.
advantage or yeah. And some of the other technology, for example, there's one website called Same As, All Same As. You put a URI on there, you can see hundreds, maybe same as URI that used by others. Sometimes we certainly found some real good sources. Yeah, like you said, this vocabulary is done manually by the Getty. Not too many such efforts available. That is the problem. Yeah. Still, there are many the silos exist. Another big problem I see in the link open data field is how you update that, because they update every month, right? And release a new version. But the link data part, if it's managed by different people, different institutions, they didn't, right? So that's also a challenge to you in the future. You want sustainable that link data that's synchronized with your real vocabulary. That's not easy to do, this administrative part.
I think that's why we haven't yet linked to geonames or some of the other, just a lack of manpower, I think is really it.
But there is a plans to do something like this?
Well, we pull data from the same satellite data sets, actually. When we have the time to update, we usually update nation by nation, and most of it is from the National Geospatial Agency, and which we take and then incorporate into our own structure. But it's a lot of manpower, because we already have data in there, and we need to disambiguate and go through that usual. It's a massive data load. When you're dealing with a place like China, it's pretty difficult if you're like 2 coordinates off to make sure that you've got the right place name, the right spot, and even in a place like Germany, where you're within 5 miles of each other, you have like 6 things with the same name exactly. This can be really difficult to do with a small team. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're very aware that we want to do that. Usually it ends up going nation by nation. The problem is the NGA updates their data all the time, so we have to actually have a way to continually update this from where we're getting our data. Not just get a download once, but monthly, the poles of the Earth change, so all the coordinates of everything change, periodically. So you can't just, just like talking about downloading data sets doesn't even make sense in that realm, So I don't know what we're going to do.
Thank you.
I was just curious, because you talk about linked open data as connecting to other people's systems. And it strikes me that the most immediate use of linked open data is to actually connect different systems within your own institution. Because we commonly use, even down to individual scale, you might have an address book, then you might have an accounting system. So it's a question of whether you want to join them together. And if you look at the benefits of trying to allow your own systems to talk together, you would then automatically get the benefits in the future of talking to other people if you needed to, because it's all the same type of language and structure. But it's a lot easier to justify why you want to make your own in-house systems more efficient than trying to justify why you want to connect to something in a different country which someone might want to search against. So it's quite often useful to look at the in-house solutions or problems first, because it's easier to justify the resources to do the work in the first place.
it's also, a lot of time when we talk about linked data, we don't use that O because it could be not open. So there are linked open data or linked enterprise data. Doesn't matter. It's linked data. Because there are government agents and the enterprise they use internally, just, but using the same way.